big data sets, hypotheses, advanced statistical analysis, original research, poster presentations. You expect this at an advanced university level. Passion-driven statistics from Wesleyan University brings all of this to a broad range of students from diverse backgrounds. Passion-driven statistics is a new way to approach statistics that overcomes barriers. Funded by the National Science Foundation, it shifts the focus from solely mathematics to a uniquely applied learning experience.
So many of our students believe that they are qualitative and not quantitative students. And this experience can unfold in a way that allows them to see themselves differently.
This makes statistics memorable because you really have to immerse in your project.
Students are free to choose their own projects to reflect their interests. They learn new ways of looking at data. They follow their passion while learning statistics.
What are you passionate about? What are your questions? We really want to answer what you bring to the table.
Yale-Bridgeport GEAR UP partnership tracks underrepresented children from 7th grade to college to enhance opportunity, and in 2016 added passion-driven statistics to their summer program at Yale.
I love the GEAR UP program. It is a federal educational initiative. The primary mission is to increase equity and access on the part of underrepresented groups to get into institutions of higher learning.
The idea is to provide resources in the communities where there isn't a high college going rate. And in Connecticut, it's in urban areas, and it's particularly African American and Latino students.
I think we all just have like an ambition, like to go forward and to learn. Like we all want to go to college. We're all here to go to college. So I think that's really important. That's what's driven us.
The summer program at Yale gives these kids a chance to experience life on campus.
Not to say that we're at a disadvantage, but we don't know really what the college experience is like.
I have 4 other sisters, and my parents don't have degrees, so basically they don't earn enough for us to be living. All of us are people that are not necessarily seen in an environment to be in a university or high achieving. The perspective people have on us is that like, oh, they're from Bridgeport, or oh, they come from a place where like learning is not a thing. So you come into a room with already a negative perspective, and I'd like to change that, or like we like to change that.
For 2 weeks, they work on their college essays, applications, and take courses like passion-driven statistics at a college level. Passion-driven statistics is an ideal segue between high school and college because it shows students how data can help them pursue their passion and explore their interests through a challenging learning experience.
So a p-value is about how certain we are that these patterns that we're talking about aren't due to random chance, that these are meaningful findings.
The way math is taught currently, K through 12, is this layered approach that is designed to make everybody a calculus professor, and you don't get a sense of what it's useful for. What this class does is kind of address that in a way where you ask a question first, and then someone's like, oh, you're interested in this? This is something you're curious about? And so they play off of your excitement for a question to then introduce, oh, here's numbers, here's a function, here's a calculation, here is computer coding. And it's introduced to you sort of discreetly through some question that you were provoked to come up with by yourself.
Before going into the class, I was questioning, like, how can you tell stories with data? Data is numbers. Like, how can you tell a story with such stuff? I'm not someone that's good with math, but for some reason with this, I am very good at it. So it sparked an interest in me.
Students are given access to a number of national data sets covering health, behavior, and space science. They can explore variables and find questions that reflect their passion.
In order for learning to really be meaningful, it needs to be relevant to your life. So we started with questions that the kids care about. When they can really engage in intellectual inquiry about a topic that matters to them, they can see that not just this class, but school and learning is relevant to my life. It can help me answer questions that are meaningful to me.
The story aspect It makes the data more meaningful. It's not just zeros and ones, it's a real life story. And I think that's what drew me in.
I found that there could be a correlation between the two variables. Surprisingly, when I conducted my research, my graph showed something way more different.
We're using this program called SAS. Times Magazine listed it #1. If you know how to use this program, then you're set. You can easily get a job. They've taught us step by step, and then when we got to know how the program works, and you making your own graphs, it's like I'm a professional at this. This is what college kids who are gonna start school in the fall, this is what they're gonna learn, but we're ahead of them.
For the results of
They create a research project to ask original questions and then use statistical software from SAS, R, Stata, Python, SPSS, or JUMP to transform raw data into useful knowledge.
So we take 2 or 3 different variables and we find any associations between them. We find out any differences, find out basically everything we can from raw numbers, and we turn it into words and we tell a story out of it.
My research questions were, is there a relationship between if a young adult identifies as Hispanic/Latino and how guilty they would feel after sex? And does the association between identification of a Christian religion relate to how guilty they feel after having sex?
Human nature often is a little trifling, and I feel like people still do it, but they end up with bad results. That's why people are still in poverty, because they were not taught how to protect themselves against unwanted pregnancies or disease, and that's how they're kept in the cycle of poverty and disease and all that. My project was about if there was any relationship between teen violence and parental affection. I wanted to explore the role parents have in teen violence and whether their affection has any effect. Since there weren't many kids who shot or stabbed anybody that participated in the study, I used other less violent questions, such as did you burglarize a building, did you threaten somebody with a weapon, and then for parental affection, I used the question, is your mother warm and loving towards you, so the nurturing aspect.
The chi-squared, we basically used it to determine whether or not my data was valid, like working properly, or whether it's just chance or not. So the ANOVA determined that for me, the correlation between how much people stress about their futures and how much they're bothered by unnecessary stress. And turns out my results were not what I expected.
The course culminates in a poster session where each student shares their story with visitors and with each other.
Even though they all felt it was a challenge, really understanding the mathematical piece of it, it connected.
I found that as parental affection, mother and father, as that increases, the level of violence decreases.
So my research questions were, is there a relationship between marijuana smoking quantity and depression? So if you're depressed or not depressed, does it make a difference? And also, does the association between smoking quantity and depression, does it vary for individuals with different levels of depression? There was a positive association between marijuana smoking quantity and depression.
People who are more depressed stay in more, they don't hang out with as many people, they don't have as many friends. So to make up for that, they smoke marijuana, they're more susceptible to drugs.
How does the child's emotional stability correlate with the mother's treatment?
What if I added gender to it? What if I compared a mother and a daughter? So all these ideas started to come to me. I was like, okay, what if I separated? I took the extra step and really dive down into the data.
This challenged me a lot to understand numbers, and understanding numbers then went to my favorite part, writing about numbers. And some data had to be collapsed. If not, everything would have been quantitative.
And my chi-square showed a significant positive correlation between...
They were passionate about the topic because they were recognizing pieces of their story that they wanted to explore more through data.
I chose this because I never had a dad growing up, so I thought it would be real interesting to see how other kids related to their dad.
You created new variables based on age.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Well, I have a feeling you're going to want to do more research on this.
Yeah?
Yeah, I bet you are.
I like data because when I look at data, I like finding it because it just tells you how things are, and I'm interested in finding out how things are.
I think they own it. They're passionate about the topic they selected. It's something they're genuinely concerned about. And then they investigate it. So I think they feel very comfortable, almost an authority now on that particular topic.
Measured on a 5-point scale.
What I want students to do when they get out of this course is to encounter data in the world and say, I can't wait. I can't wait to do something with it, and to have an understanding of what might be possible.
Passion-driven statistics was developed for college students with support from the National Science Foundation. It works equally well with young learners from diverse backgrounds. It includes 15 hours of video lessons and supporting materials. It's adapted for virtual learning on Schoology, Coursera, edX, and Moodle. Best of all, it's free for teachers and learners worldwide.
What Lisa's class offered students is an opportunity to think at a very high level, sophisticated level, about how variables hang together, for them to learn how to make hypotheses about how those variables hang together, and then see what the results are from actually learning how to do statistics.
Find out why passion-driven statistics is changing the way students learn and opening doors that many thought were firmly shut.
They're going to possibly master, but at least become acquainted with a skill that they never had before. It's going to help them change their minds about what they're capable of, change their minds about what are options for them for careers.
I'm getting to realize that the things I thought I didn't like may not be so. If I just put my mind to it, I might have a liking for it.
Tell the people who say we can't do it that we did it, and show it to them that we are capable of doing what we can.
What Lisa has demonstrated over the past 9 days is a project-based program. It's challenging, but it's the missing link in high school.
Passion-driven statistics. Bring the passion to your college or high school.
This has changed the way that I view the world. This changes the way that I hear about research and literature. It changes everything.